and Donald Trump says he is two Donald Trumps. And Dr. Ben Carson agreeing and then disagreeing over whether or not we're getting the real Donald Trump.
There are two different Donald Trumps. There's the one you see on the stage, and there's the one who's very cerebral, sits there and considers things very carefully. You can have a very good conversation with him. And that's the Donald Trump that you're going to start seeing more and more of right now.
I probably do agree. I think there are two Donald Trumps.
Along the same lines, so why are there two Donald Trumps? Did you at some point make a conscious decision to behave differently in public?
I don't think there are two Donald Trumps. I think there's one Donald Trump, but certainly you have, look, all of this, and you have somebody else that sits and reads and thinks. And I'm a thinker, and I have been a thinker. And perhaps people don't think of me that way because you don't see me in that forum, but I am a thinker. I thought it was very nice what Ben said, actually, because it is another side of me. I'm a very deep thinker. I know what's happening, okay?
The On the Record political panel is back. And John, is saying that they're two different Donald Trumps. I have to tell you that we meet all these candidates. I think that's true of every single one. I mean, you see what a lot of people say about Secretary Hillary Clinton. I've traveled when she was to Pakistan with her, and she's sitting there talking to every general, knows every general by name, and does her homework and everything else, but then she gets perceived a different way. I mean, it's just amazing. They're all two.
Well, there may very well be two Donald Trumps. The problem for Donald Trump is that voters are going to make their judgment on the public Donald Trump, not the one in private. And what we've seen...
But is that true of all these candidates?
Oh, sure. And I'm just saying the problem for him is just the candidate... It's one thing if Donald Trump were being outlandish to grab the attention early on and become more and more presidential as the campaign went on. But these last few weeks, you've seen the general election numbers for Donald Trump get even worse, more than 60% unfavorable rating, worse and worse numbers against Hillary Clinton. And I think that's because he's just simply not passing the commander-in-chief test for a lot of voters, whether it's, making erratic claims, left-wing conspiracy theories about 9/11 and the Iraq War, vulgar comments about his manhood, getting in the gutter with other people. I think that that's the problem, is that that's the public Donald Trump, and if the private Donald Trump is cerebral and what Carson said, they won't know that.
Let me, Betsy, last night in the debate, we had a cerebral general election Donald Trump, and he's been very successful in his business, so he must know how to do something in that direction.
Exactly, for sure. And I think it's interesting that this comment on the two Trumps, the cerebral Trump and sort of the rough and tumble Trump, came from Ben Carson, because perhaps no other candidate is more acutely aware of how different those two Trumps are, those alleged two Trumps, than Carson. Remember, it wasn't so long ago that Trump suggested Carson had a mental problem that predisposed him to pedophilia. And now Trump has made good with him. They've talked. So if anything, I mean, Carson might have the authority to say this.
But then, I hear so many people say Trump's got such great kids. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, you've got the one side where people are, complaining about, but then they point to the fact that he's a good father. Anyway, both of you, do not go away.